In the last video, you learned how to display output using the print method, and that you could actually display more than one item if you separated the items with a comma. You also learned that you could determine how the data is separated on the screen using the default space, or you could use your own characters. And then you also learned what to do after the data is printed by using the end option. So let's talk a little bit about escape characters. What we can do with escape characters is use them to format how the data is going to be printed out, spacing wise. So let's create a brand new file, and we'll name that. I'm going to call mine escapeit.py, and we're going to go ahead and have our first name again, and we'll go ahead and do our last name again. And let's go ahead and do an age. And we know that we're going to have to convert that into an integer already. Now you saw before we could just simply say S first name, S last name, and I age. And this would print it out to the screen and separate it by spaces. Let's go ahead and run that. And we're going to do a Python escapeit.py. First name is John Doe 30. And it just prints it out separated by the spaces. So what we could do, we already saw that you could change this to be the sep equals, and you can do a space there if you want, it doesn't matter, sep equals, and you could specify a hyphen. The other thing we could do though is use what we call an escape sequence. It's a backslash and some character. The backslash n is a new line. The backslash t says do a tab. So let's see what that looks like if we run that. Now if you notice, it actually separates it more than just a single space. Well, what if we did this? What if we had multiple data that we had to print off? And let's just say we had 3 lines, and I'm going to hard code, meaning I'm just going to type in some data. And we'll pretend like we got it from the keyboard. And I have a typo I need to fix. Right here, get rid of that. So I typed in 3, we'll say 3 records is what I'm going to do. I'm going to save that, run it one more time. First name, John Doe, and then we pretend like we get all the other data. And if you notice, it's looking pretty nice and it's lined up. In fact, I could do this now, print first name, last name, age, sep equals backslash t, run it one more time, and it tries to line things up in columns. Now the only problem you have is since we made this column pretty big, the data doesn't fit underneath it. And so you're going to have to figure out when you print your data how you could maybe line that up a little bit better. So let's try one more thing. Let's put in 2 tabs there. 2 tabs. Run it one more time. That is a mighty fine looking column. And we could even make it a little bit nicer by saying print, and we'll say let's do a new line character first, and see what happens. /n says escape sequence new line. Let's run it one more time and see what the output looks like. Now it says, go ahead and add a blank line. But if you notice this time, there's something that happened here. And that's because we said comma. Remember, a comma is equal to a tab. So it not only went to the new line down to here, but then it tabbed it in and messed everything up. So let's try one more thing. Instead of actually saying separate it with the comma, let's just type in the /n right next to first name and see what happens. Now it says go to the new line and print off the data, because you can include those escape sequences with the text itself.